Merry Christmas.
This is Allied Rivals with AJ and Cademan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and better than ever. It's been a while, but we have returned. It is AJ Herschel and Cademan Bauer live. Well, not live actually right now, but live recording for the Allied Rivals podcast. How's it going, man?
It's going really good. It's really fun to be back. I didn't realize how much I missed it until we just started, but I'm really glad to be back. Christmas break now, so
Yep.
It feels good to be done with school. How about you?
Pretty similar, actually. It is good to be back. Good to have a break from school. My goodness. First semester of college was nuts, but we're back. We're excited to do everything. I'm excited to be back and everything. It's been a while. It's going to be a little weird, like getting back into it and like getting back in the groove, but it feels good to be back on stream. So, that's always a good thing. So today, for I guess is like our Christmas special or something, we were supposed to get a blizzard over here in Illinois is what I had heard, but apparently it was only blizzard-like conditions and it was only going to be an inch of snow. So now I feel absolutely just gypped and ripped off. So instead, we're going to be talking about the NFL playoffs because, man, that playoff picture is kind of crazy. So, Kate, start with you. Do you have any surprises, I guess, right now from the beginning of the playoff picture that you're looking at right now?
Just my big surprise from this entire season was how poorly the Rams played.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've had their chunk of injuries and stuff, but I mean, even from the beginning of the season when not much had changed from their previous roster, they were playing awful. So they were my biggest surprise for how poorly they've been playing. The biggest surprise for how well they've been playing is probably the Eagles. They've just been dominating every game.
Yeah,
those are the big two. How about you?
For me, I think it was the fact that the Seahawks have done so well. Like, they're right outside of the playoff picture. They're 7-7. The whole in Geno Smith we trust thing has turned out actually really well for their offense. Their defense has really been letting them down more often than not. On the other side, the Minnesota Vikings, man. They're 11-3, but their defense is so bad. They're ranked 32nd in almost everything. They are riding off of the back of Justin Jefferson and that offense right now. If you take every single team in the NFL that has 10 wins or more in their point differential, every team has has 80 more points than they've let up this season, except the Minnesota Vikings. They have a net point rating of +2. That is how even it is. If you flipped every single score game in the NFL, so like, you win by a touchdown. If it had been the opposite, the Vikings would be a 1-2 win team this year. They have got it was crazy. At the beginning of the year, we all thought the Vikings were great, and then we actually looked at the schedule and who they played and how they won, and then they got exposed by the Cowboys and lost 40-3. They've definitely been my biggest surprise this year.
Yeah, a team that's kind of gone under the radar for some of it is the Jaguars, but they're just sitting right out of the wild card right now. Their offense hasn't looked bad. Their defense is on and off, but they're still in the picture. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, and they have a lot of talent on that roster too. I mean, Evan Ingram all of a sudden has just come out of nowhere. Yep. I didn't pick him up in fantasy because it's a principle for me at this point after what he did to me during those Giants years. But he's been incredible. Christian Kirk and Zay Jones have actually been really good, which is kind of surprising. But, yeah, they have done incredibly well, which is nuts. And that South Division – oh, my goodness. Can we talk about both South divisions for a minute? They're
terrible.
They're so mid. They're so bad. And everybody still has a chance to get in except the Colts. So AFC South first. Let's start there. The Titans are currently the 4th seed at 7-7. For me, at least, I don't think Jacksonville's going to get into a wild card. They've got Miami, Chargers, and Ravens all ahead of them right now. They've got New England, who's 7-7 ahead of them right now. Yeah. I don't think they're going to get that spot. Do you think they take over the Titans with their win against the Jets this week and be able to get that spot? What do you think?
It's definitely possible. I mean, the Jets, I don't know. I can't decide if I like them or not because they're very on and off as well. What are they, like 7 and?
7 and 8.
Something like that.
7 and 8. Both the Jets and Jags are 7 and 8.
And the Jags. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see the Jags taking the division. if the Titans lost this week and Jags beat the Jets. It's totally possible. Yeah, I agree. I think whoever wins the division, the other team is probably not going to make the wild card.
Yeah.
I don't think the Dolphins are going to get kicked out unless the Pack beats them Sunday. That'd be cool.
Sure.
But yeah, both South divisions are pretty bad. I mean, Colts and Texans, 2 of the 3 AFC teams eliminated from the playoffs. And then the NFC South is probably the worst division in football right now. I mean, Tampa Bay is leading the division at 6-8, so they're getting into the playoffs at 6-8. And then Panthers, Falcons, and Saints are all at 5-9. So any of them can take the division. Most likely, none of them will make the wild card. There's like a 5% chance any of that happens. So yeah, that's pretty sad. What happened to the Bucs?
I have no idea. I mean, I know injuries have been a big problem for them, especially on offense, with Fournette being banged up and Godwin not being able to stay healthy all year. And their offensive line hasn't been great either. Their offensive line's been banged up too. But still, their defense was almost completely unchanged in terms of player. Like, we know they're a great team. And Tom hasn't looked great either. They're just super dysfunctional, almost kind of like the Rams. But the Rams, at least we know, their O-line is bad. They have had so many injuries. Like, it makes more sense for them. But I don't know what's going on with the Bucs. That whole division, I can't believe they all still have a chance to actually make it, which is insane. Let's go. I know the Bucs and Falcons play each other, and the Saints and Panthers play each other week 18. So it could all come down to that eventually, depending how close it is. I still think Tampa's going to take it. I don't see any of the others doing it. But when it comes to the AFC South, like, Jaguars beat the Jets this week, but the Titans get Houston. But next week, the Titans get the Cowboys, and the Jaguars get Houston, which leads us to week 18, where they play each other. This is going to go down.
That's interesting.
This is going to go down to the last week, I think. I think the Titans are still going to take it because they have that one game in hand right now. I think after they beat Houston this week, they better beat Houston this week. And then I feel like they'll be able to take it out because Derrick Henry's been playing so well. But either way, whoever wins out of that division, whoever wins out of the NFC South, I think they get smacked immediately.
Yeah. Take a look at your AFC leaders. You got the Bills, the Chiefs. They're both 11-3.
Yep.
Then the Bengals have played really well. And then talked about the Titans. So do you see anything shifting between the Bengals, Chiefs, and Bills, like the order in that?
I think Chiefs and Bills have it locked up. They're both 11-3. They've got their closest opponents are what? Chargers and Dolphins, who are both 8-6. They've got those divisions clinched. Cincinnati, it's a little more interesting because they play New England and then Buffalo, and then they finish with Baltimore. Baltimore's got Atlanta, and who do they have the week after? Pittsburgh. And then they finish, of course, with Cincinnati. So I think the biggest danger is that the Bengals could lose the division to the Ravens if Lamar comes back healthy in week 18. If he's still not healthy, I think the Bengals are going to finish and slot in right at that 3 seed because I think Buffalo and the Chiefs are going to coast to 1 and 2. But I think they are in real danger. Even without Lamar, the Ravens do not have the hardest matchups. The Falcons at home, and then a Steelers team that's trying to fight to 8-8 or 9-8 to keep Mike Tomlin's undefeated, a perfect record of 500 and above alive. I think the Bengals can pull it out, but that is the one team I'm worried about out of those top 3. What about you?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the Chiefs have already clinched. I'm just wondering if they'll be able to, because the Bills have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs right now. Which means the Bills have to lose for the Chiefs to take that 1 seed to get the week 1 bye.
Yeah.
But Ravens have looked really good all season. Honestly, so have the Chargers. I mean, some of it hasn't been super smooth, but their offense is pretty nice. I'd say it's pretty well rounded compared to years past.
Yeah, they've kicked it up second half of the year, and they have such an easy schedule. They get the Colts, the Rams, and then they get the Broncos to finish off the year.
Fun. That sounds really nice, actually.
I like that schedule.
I do too. So yeah, I'd say right now I don't see the Bills losing. I think they play the Bears this week.
They do. Yeah.
That'll be fun for you, AJ.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I might be at the game. We'll see what happens.
What? Really?
We'll see.
That's
Maybe.
sick.
That'd be nice. We'll see what happens. But yeah, no, we're losing that game. There's no way we're winning that game at all.
Right. Yeah. So my prediction right now for the AFC is, in order of seeding: Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, Titans.
Yep.
You know what? I think it's actually going to stay exactly how it is. I don't think anything's going to change. So in the wild card: Ravens, Chargers, Dolphins.
Yeah.
Unless one thing could change. Unless the Packers beat the Dolphins.
Okay.
Then I think the Patriots would take that spot.
Interesting. Because who do the Patriots have this week? They get the Bengals though. They're playing Cincy this week. That's a tough matchup.
It is.
Yeah.
It'll be a good one.
It'll be interesting because I don't remember who is the tiebreaker right now in that division. It's going to be close. But what's it called? Flipping over to the other side, to the NFC. We already talked about the Eagles, Vikings. They're obviously ready to go. They're locked in. San Francisco pretty much has a lock on the NFC South as well. So that leaves us with...
They clinched it.
That leaves us with the Eagles, the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Commanders all in the playoff picture right now. We could finish the entire NFC East making the playoffs. Cade, do you think that happens? Or do you think someone like Seattle or Detroit ends up slipping in instead?
I don't know, man. I just know I wish the Commanders would not have tied. That would have been okay.
Right.
Who was it against?
It was against the Giants. It was totally planned. It was totally planned. They knew that they had to do this. They had to tie in order to make the playoffs together.
Made me so angry because that kill. I just needed one of them to lose because that killed like a good chance for the Packers.
Yeah.
Because that put one team instead of 2 games. It made it 2.5. So now it's like basically 3 games.
Yeah.
So,
pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely really possible that all of those teams make it. Commanders could definitely slip out of the playoffs.
Yeah, especially with their schedule. They have the 49ers, the Browns, and then they finish with Dallas. That's 2 losable games.
I'm gonna predict that the NFC East, there will be 3 teams.
Yep.
Commanders will not make it.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say that last wild card spot will be between the Packers and the Seahawks. And that's a long shot.
Yeah.
But I'm a Packers fan, so we got to go with
it. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be close. I'm agreeing with you that I think Washington's going to drop out. I think the Niners game and the fact they have to play the Cowboys in the final week. Now, granted, the Cowboys could just coast because they'll probably, I think, have a lock on that number 5 seed. So they could just coast and Washington gets in based off of that because I think they're going to beat the Browns at home. But if they lose that game, I think Seattle has a good chance because even though they get the Chiefs this week, after that they get to go play who is it? They get to play the Jets at home, and then they finish with the Rams. Neither of those teams have looked great this year. Those are both winnable games, especially if Mike White's not healthy for the Jets either. I think they have a good chance to get in. The Giants, I think they're not invulnerable either because they play the Vikings this week, and in Week 18 they have to play the Eagles in Philly. But again, the Eagles might not put anybody in because they basically almost clinched. Have they clinched the 1 seed at this point? I can't remember.
They haven't. They're at the 1 seed.
Okay. Yeah.
The Cowboys technically could still take the division.
That's
true. If the Eagles win 1 more game, then they clinch the division. Okay,
there we go. Yeah. And who is Philly playing? They're playing the Saints in Week 17. They're playing the Giants in Week 18. And then this week they get who is it? I know I had it earlier. Who are they playing? I'm looking it up now. Is it Dallas? I think it's Dallas. It's Dallas. They get Dallas. Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm going to bet that the Eagles are going to make it and that they'll probably rest people that last game. So I'm going to give the Giants the benefit of the doubt. And sure, part of me just wants the Seahawks in, man. Geno Smith has had such a good year. He's had such a good year. It's been 10 years, and he made his first Pro Bowl. I really want him to get to the playoffs. I really just want him to.
So what's your prediction for the wild card?
I'm going to say that the Seahawks get the 7 seed, Giants take 6, Dallas stays at 5, and Philly clinches number 1. I do think that Minnesota, there's a chance that they could fall out of 2 down to 3, depending. But they're playing the Bears in Week 18. Now that I think about it, no, they're not losing that. They're not losing to the Bears.
They're losing to the Pack.
they're not either way. They have a game in hand, I think, right now. And 49ers get Washington, the Raiders, and they finish against the Cardinals. Yeah, I do think the Vikings have a chance of slipping down to 3 if they lose to the Packers. But otherwise, I think pretty much it's going to stay the same. But I'm really hoping for Seattle, man. I'm really hoping for them.
Well, I'm hoping for the Pack.
Speaking of which,
pretty unlikely.
So I am not a Packers fan, right? I don't keep up. I know it's crazy. You never would have thought it with the Walter Payton and Khalil Mack stuff right behind me. But I don't keep up with the Packers as much as I can. Unlike you, can you tell me first of all what on earth happened this year, and number 2, how are you feeling about this year? Because Rodgers has thrown the second most picks in his career in a season. The offense has been injured on the offensive line. The defense hasn't been great at times. And you guys are 7-8 or 6-8. Sorry, 6-8. Yeah. So what happened and how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, what happened is we had a couple injuries, but we lost some key players. I mean, Devontae's the big one. Obviously, the big offensive weapon, the best duo in the league was Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams. So when you lose that, and then you have to find a number 1 receiver, can't replace Devontae. So we drafted Watson and Dubs. Super slow start for Watson. And Dubs has been injured a little bit, so picked up Sammy Watkins. He's been injured, so we let him go.
Yep.
Randall Cobb has been...
He's 50 years old. He's 50.
He's old. Let's just say that. Alan Lazard, who was supposed to be our number 1, has been injured for some of it.
Yep.
We had to cut Amari Rodgers because he dropped 8 punt returns or something. And, yeah, that's pretty much our offense.
Gotcha.
Our offensive line has been pretty – at the beginning of the season, it was pretty messed up at least.
Yeah. It's gotten better as the season's gone on.
And David Bakhtiari had an appendix something.
Oof.
So, you know what? It hasn't been the best. But you know what? The last few weeks have been not disappointing. They've been good.
Yeah.
Christian Watson's caught some touchdowns. He's been making plays. We cut the guys that needed to be cut. And we've won a couple games.
Gotcha.
And I feel like no matter what happens from the end of this year, from now to the end of the year, I don't feel too bad because I feel like we ended off somewhat well coming into next year. If we made the playoffs, that would be insane, and I'd feel really good about starting slow and ending on a high instead of starting on a high and ending really slow.
Sure.
So what I see from Christian Watson right now is really good. I feel like he's kind of started out as the MVS where he takes the deep ball because he's super fast, he's tall. But I think he could be really good eventually. Defense is just really weird. I don't even know what's over. Don't even ask me about that. So I get thoughts on the Packers. Really hoping they make the playoffs, but I don't know. Anything could happen.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Bears right now?
For me, first of all, it took everybody stinking long enough to realize that Justin Fields should be put in a Lamar Jackson type system. It's about time. They keep trying to make him a pocket passer for weeks last year and the beginning of this year, and then they finally actually let him run the ball. And guess what? He has top 10 rushing yards in the NFL and might break the record for most rushing yards by a quarterback in a season. Who would have thought, right? So it stinks that we're losing games, but I knew this was going to happen. We're 3-11. Our entire offense is based off of second and third wide receivers. David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert have been great. Both of them have been awesome. Our offensive line has been on and off, but we made the switches that we need to there. And then we completely gutted our defense. We got rid of, Khalil Mack. Eddie Jackson got injured. We no longer have Robert Quinn. We no longer have Roquan Smith. So, everything there is gone. So our defense is just gone. But we've played teams close, which is really nice. We almost beat the Eagles last week, which is cool. And so for me, we're 3-11. So we're going to get a hot – we knew we weren't going to – I did not want to go to the playoffs this year with this kind of roster. We're going to get top 3 draft pick, first of all. Second of all, Justin Fields is looking great. His development is going incredibly well behind a team that is severely underpowered. We're going to go in with a really good running game with Montgomery and Herbert next year. And The Atlanta Falcons have $70 million in cap space next year. They're second in the NFL. We currently have $120 million. We have doubled them in cap space
crazy.
Next year.
That's crazy.
I've never seen that before. And the Saints are still like $30 million over, which is hilarious. But
we're bad.
Right, exactly, yeah. So we have a really great quarterback. We've got a really great run game. We have Mooney, who's still looking good. We're gonna have a high draft pick, and we're gonna have a bucket load of money to be able to spend next year as well. So to me, this is the start of something good. This is how a rebuild should be done. To me, I mean, it really hurt at the beginning of the year to see us trading away absolutely everything, but we are going to have so much money, even if next year's free agent class isn't the best. We're going to have so much money to be able to go out and at least get pieces to start building towards a playoff contending team. So, losing hurts, but I'm happy with the direction the front office has taken us. They actually did a really good job.
Yeah, it's been a different year for the Packers.
Yeah.
It's been kind of similar for the Bears, I guess.
Yeah.
But, there were two games that mattered this year.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, for the Packers at least, one was against the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one was against the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And we won both of them.
Yep.
And now we have 8 straight wins against the Bears.
And enjoy having the 15th pick. Enjoy having the 15th pick.
We'll take it. We'll get like some safety or something. I don't know.
All right. Well,
I
think we covered most everything. So let's, of course, because everybody's going to want to hear this. Do you have an early Super Bowl prediction, Cademan? Do you who are you feeling right now with who we got?
I didn't have one on, but I'll make one up on the spot.
That's the best kind.
It's the best kind. You know what? Let's go with Bills.
Okay.
49ers. That's my prediction. Bills.
Are 49ers. You serious?
That is my prediction.
Dang, that's crazy.
What is your prediction?
My prediction, I was thinking Bills 49ers, but now I was thinking about it.
Good.
I was thinking about it. Great minds and all that. But I'm going to go with Chiefs Eagles right now because I think a healthy Jalen Hurts in the playoffs, if they let him rest, their defense is ranked top 5 in almost everything. Sacks, yards per game, points per game. Their defense is so good. And San Francisco, I'm just a little worried about what's going to happen with their quarterback play once they get to the playoffs. Because Brock Purdy's been great, don't get me wrong. And I'm super happy for him. He was great at Iowa State. I loved watching him play. But I think the Eagles are going to be able to take that kind of game if it comes down to it. And A.J. Brown's been a beast. So I'm going to go Chiefs Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, good on the 49ers for having like a third-string quarterback that can play.
Yeah, exactly.
Good on them for keeping Jimmy G for the 2 games he played after Trey Lance got hurt.
Dude, the 49ers are just cursed. They've had so many injuries over the last 3 years, and yet still they make the playoffs. It's crazy. It's insane.
It's awesome.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I think that wraps up the, Christmas holiday NFL special that we've got going for you. Please like and comment, share, and everything. I know it's been a while. We've both been super busy. We tried to figure some stuff out during the school year, but it was just really tough with schedules and everything. But really good to be back. We might come out with another video in the next week or so, maybe after Christmas. In between that and New Year's, we'll see. Probably might be on the NBA instead because that's gotten really interesting. So if we do, you definitely want to be subscribed. And it's great to be back. Leave us in the comments. Let us know. What do you think? How are you feeling about your team? What do you think is going to happen in the playoffs? Drop your Super Bowl prediction. Just talk about NFL, man. We love having you guys' comments down there. Kate, you got anything else to say before we head out?
Yeah, just let us know, what you're feeling about the NFL, the NBA. Yeah. Tell us about how the Bucks are better than the Celtics. Yeah, should really talk about that.
I can't wait to hear that argument.
Really fired up when the Bucks beat the Celtics on Christmas Day.
That's going to be a fun game. Awesome. It's going to be a fun game.
So good. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, we'll see you guys next time. I'm AJ. That's Cademan. Peace out.
Peace.
This is Allied Rivals with AJ and Cademan.